Okay, thank you so much for joining us this early morning. Olunaku Lw'abakyala munana March, and you know what that means. Wona munsi yonna. Olunaku Lw'abakyala okwetoloola Uganda n'ensi yonna. Era tulowooza nti otudde ntende okubaako ekyenjawulo ky'oyiga olwaleero. It's a special edition naffe gye twawaddeyo eri abakyala, because we believe women are a special gender that needs to be taken care of and also take care of themselves. Obuulyawo y'ensonga lwaki batuterawo olunaku luno okwejjukanyanga biki bye tutuuseeko, those achievements, saako okuba torch mu ebyo ebikyagaanye tusobola tutya okubifuna. Big up to every woman at the top, the Speaker of Parliament, Rebecca Kadaga Oluwamanyi. Big up to you, Rebecca, the President's bodyguard, okuba nti wakuba abasajja to that position. Yes, it's not a competition, I know, but for you to achieve that is really worth celebrating. Big up to the lady in the market, ngagwe okola kulaba nti obezao family yo. To the woman in the bank, the CEO, and everybody aliawo nawo bidukanyizao. To the ladies in the media, to the lady in the garden, to you, the housewife at home, to the single mother struggling every day to put food on the table for your children to eat and survive. Everybody in whatever capacity. But above all, big up to the men that respect women, appreciate them, love them, and give them the courage to push on. Tuyingidewo leero ne special edition nga bwe nkutegeezezza. We have a panel of women in leadership abagenda okuba nga batubuulira tutuusewa nga twejjukanya gye tuvudde and what has failed, what can we do about that. Nina omukyala agenda okuggulawo olwaleero. She's an amazing one. Abadde chef mu Kampala Serena Hotel, ba partners baffe olwaleero together with Absa Bank abatutuusizaako special edition y'olwaleero. She's amazing in a way. She's been around for 29 years nga yafumba emmere abagenyi b'oku Serena Hotel bwe tusinzidde okuweereza olwaleero gye balya. Peace Nankunda Butera is in the house atubulire her journey to probably inspire another woman out there. Good morning, Peace.
Good morning, Farida.
Happy Women's Day.
Happy Women's Day.
How do you feel?
Very great, very great.
I love your name. My daughter is called Ankunda.
Oh, thank you very much. It's a great name.
All right. Watandika 1992.
92, I was out of
From
college.
here.
Yes. From the same building. By then it was Nile Hotel, but it's Serena today.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you've been chief chef for how long?
I've been chief chef for 2000. Yeah,
From
2000. From 2000.
That is 11 years now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wasoma bye wasoma nga oluubirira kubeera this oba kijja along the way?
No.
Did you love food a lot?
Yes.
Growing up?
Growing up, like where we come from, the family, back in the families, you have these days you say, this week is for Peace, this week is for Farida.
To cook.
So, yeah, to cook. So people used to,
enjoy your week.
To enjoy my week.
Nga kuzaala labagala bagende bakyaleke wajjajja but kuya Peace.
Naye ku week yange nga buli omu tamisinga ku dining table.
Is it also a talent?
It is a talent. It has to be a talent. You need to love it. It's a passion. You cannot just wake up and say, I'm going to cook food, and then you cook it.
Olina okumanya oppima omwonyo.
Nokumanya buli kimu olina okukyagala, because it's not an easy journey.
Okay.
No, it's not. It's a very, very demanding journey. It takes much of your time. Yeah, it takes much of your time. When you're a girl, you don't enjoy like other girls outside. When you become a mother, you don't enjoy your family. Your children miss you a lot because okeela nnyo n'ogenda ku mulimu n'ovaayo ekirungo obaleka beebase n'osanga beebase. So ne bakumisinga mukwawo. So it's a very challenging journey, but a very, very interesting one.
Are there days where you didn't go back home? No sigala wano because there was too much to do.
Yes. Happeninga mu nnaku ezenkulu nga 31st, where the whole world comes and you have to cater for them until the following morning. Yeah. So it's been
but ng'omukyala bw'ali nti ali special women over we multitask. Oli ku mulimu naye owulirize kabigenda bitya very well. Okay, how hard was it for you to get a job at a 5-star hotel?
To mine it was like a luck or something. I don't know how to say it. Right from the college, those days of our time going to school is different from today. It's the way that would put you to a hotel for training. Okay. So that time I was sent to Nile Hotel as a trainee. So from there I never went back.
bakulemera
banemera
kwegate wasaba mulimu
sasa sisaba ko mulimu
wow okay
ebyange binsangawo as after Nile Hotel twayingira mu Bawarabu Tahafarat International after that ne bansigaza bakozi abatono be basigaza wa 500 then ne basigaza 150 I was among them ne bayongerako then ne bifa ne baddayo Serena ne yingirawo era still ne sigaza out of 500 twasigaza to 24 and I was among the 24 yes.
What do you attribute that to? Oli muchala mukozi nnyo? Are you a people person or you're skilled too much that they can't let you go?
I'm a people person, I'm a hardworking woman. I've really worked for it. Okay. I've done great. I've worked, I have to say this. Naye nga chimpade time ya building a family yange to be a hospitality. My children grow knowing that you have to be a people person. So
your members of your family nabo bayingide into the hospitality business?
Kind of, like my daughter, she's now a hostess with Uganda Airlines. Wow. Because we used to travel a lot. Like when you overwork, you have the whole year on duty throughout. When you take your leave, Serena gives you an opportunity to go with your family to any of the Serena units. Anywhere around the world. So you take your family, so they also grow up.
Is that for everybody?
For a certain level.
The lucky ones like
the level, no, it's a level that allows you to do that. Okay. So my kids have also grown knowing good things, knowing hospitality, so that's how she was also forced to go to that. She loves it so much.
Because that's all she knows.
Yes.
Okay. Jane badetya.
Jane tebadde mbi. Jane badde nungi nga bwe nkugambye naye oyina ebintu bingi bye weefiiriza ng'omukyala. Like you cannot do a pedicure, you cannot paint your nails. You can't do your hair and you go when people are seeing your hair like zina kuba covered for all the years that you work with them. Yes. Okay. You have to cover your hair so no one admires it because no one sees it.
Bayina engeri gye bakweyisa in a special way kubami abalala bokola nabakozi. I'm sure in your department mulimu abasajja.
Yeah, kataba ekinyambye nnyo mu kanale yaffe eno abasinga nze mba trainings. So bakulide kunze bampita maama ku mulimo bampita maama waka so nakyo kinyamba muko okulaba nti abantu bo beera nabo bakurespecting to that level ate bo boina kyo balaga nakyo kiyamba
tikwegamba tofunyeyo mbeera situations where the men underlook you because you're a woman bano bazenga obalera. Yes. Chibakakatako kuwa respect.
Definitely. Chibakakat because bakusanzewo go bafusise go ba chebali so baku respecting nyo. Okay. Era bona bampita mama mu kiyungu.
Wow. What do you know or think about Women's Day?
Wow. Kwegamba mukama ya kituyamba muko na kituwa. So it's the day that you feel great, you feel empowered. Nawe no man oh nakuru afe rutuse. No rusanyukiramu.
Okay. Do you celebrate it in a special way? Or it's another day, just a reminder at the back of your mind. Indeed special. That is why even the whole world recognizes me.
It's another day because katufe mu industry yafe enaku enkuru fe je tubera busy. Jolabira abakyala abalala, jolabira families endala. Kati gwe enaku enkuru ezo ziba off from those big days. Kat Christmas osuze ku mulimo okola kat abaana bo batwala Christmas another day.
Oh, fetubeera tuze mu office ku 5:30
gwe no nanga bwotwala abaana bo.
Okay.
Ne tebadde kati
gwa bimanyira.
Yeah, tebadde journey mbi basically. It's been a great journey nafuna mu family. Ate ekirala kyendabye ng'omukyala abakyala balina okuyiga emirimu gyaffe gino gikuforcing okubeera omuntu omukakamu n'omukyala n'omuntu alabira abaana bo waka n'omuleka nabeera mukamaawo. Because Gotoriyo. When I got a good bossy way.
They are literally in charge.
Yeah, they are in charge. I've been with her for that's 22 years.
Oh, so
namufuna mu Kampala muno nga nakafumbirwa.
Paka kati yaliza.
Paka na achabalera nga bakuru. So bye bintu bye wesonyiwa kusinga. You decide to become obera wansi nyo no muleka na managinga
no mulaga nti oli wa maani.
Yes, because gwe mukama wange abaana bo basobola okufuna kye beetaaga.
Oh, okay, that's beautiful. You know how many women call to tell you I'm missing work because omukozi akedde ku makya n'atambula n'agenda ezo zuuka ku 5 nga she's nowhere ate nga abaana bato challenging. The message join eri abana abato abawala abakula. Some of them don't even know how important they are. They don't know their worth.
My call for the young ladies, young women outside there who are looking at me now, it's a very beautiful journey. Taking and bakirizo kwefiriza nga bwembyegedde ebintu ebisinga twabifiirwa as young girls. You achieve a lot. No gezaako kwetera emmere ku meeza naawe ng'omukyala. No, it's a very good journey. That is a good job that you are not lacking. No.
Tofuuka musabirizi.
Tobefuuka musabirizi mbolinze ebino ebyempula ebyakameeza no. You also put it on the table.
Ewe byakameeza tebiriiwo.
Wange tebiriiyo.
All right. Thank you so much, Peace. We wish you all the best. Happy Women's Day. Also, just to remind you that Serena Hotel in a special offer for the guests today. Buli mukyala agenda okujja ku Serena from now to later in the night. Ogenda kufuna 10% of what you're going to receive, all the service you're going to receive. Ebitundu 10 ku buli 10 babikujiddeko hotel egenda bikusasulira. So gather your family, even the little girls. Bona say 10% is going to be deducted from your bill. Yes, tuchagenda maaso tutandika butandise. We have a panel of wonderful women who have been in leadership for quite some time. Abagenda kuba nga batunyonyola, batutangaza, batubangula era batusomesa mu nsonga ezimu ezikwata ku bakyala. Thank you for being a part of the show. Tutandika butandise katumule katono tukomo. Okay, thank you so much for keeping it. Mwasuze Mutya tuchagenda maaso, and today's special edition of the show is brought to you by Kampala Serena Hotel together with Absa Bank. Yes, tuina esanyo kutusaako Olunaku Lw'abakyala olwaleero Mwasuze Mutya nga tutunuulira biki bye tutuuseeko mulimu ki gwe tukoze okukulaakulanya amaka gaffe first and then the communities in which we live and the nation at large. Nina abakyala ab'enjawulo olwaleero. Nina Honourable Member of Parliament wa Gomba West, Omukyala Robina Rakojo. She's in the house with us today. She's a lawyer by profession nga akolerako wansi mu office eya Attorney General navaayo n'agenda neyesimbawo mu byobufuzi, and she's doing an amazing job. Yakolerako akakiiko akatunuulira ebyokukabasanya abaana ab'obuwala mu matendekero naddala ag'owaggulu. Yes, report ya Fuluma ajja kuba briefly yatubulirako what they found out. We also have Maggie, because you all know Maggie. She's a common face, former executive director of Uganda Investment Authority and currently the director of Crown Beverages. Abatukolera soda owenjawulo. Tulina n'omukyala eyakuguka mu by'abantu. She's a people function director of bank eya Absa. Yakuguka mu human resource. Welcome, ladies, and
thank you.
Happy Women's Day.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to learning a lot. All right. We'll start with you, Robina. As a woman who's been in service and leadership for quite some time, biki byolaba abakyala byetutuuseeko oba mpola mpola tutandike tumenye gye twava bagamba batujja mu kiyungu gye twava. Do you remember anything?
Nsooka okubeebaza ennyo olw'okutuyita leero ffe abakyala ku lunaku lwaffe olw'abakyala, era mbayozaayoza mwenna ku lunaku lw'abakyala olw'okulutuukako. Mukama yeebazibwa okulaba nti olunaku luno lwakuzibwa mu ggwanga lyonna ate mu mawanga gonna ag'omu nsi eno. Omukyala we tutandikira ffe bamaama, buli omu ali mu nsi yazaalibwa mukyala, era abakyala tulina bingi bye tukola, naye nga twali mabega nnyo mu Uganda yaffe eno. Naye njagala okwebaza gavumenti olwa constitution yaffe eya 1995 kubanga ye yassaamu ebintu bingi ebikwata ku bakyala, ne tutandika okulaba nga kwegala tutandise okukulaakulana, kubanga omukyala bamulaba ng'omuntu ne bamuwa eddembe lye ery'okukola ebintu ebimu, kwega n'omanyibwa ng'omuntu naye abalibwa ng'ow'omugaso kubanga abakyala ba Uganda baali bamenyeka nnyo.
Luli tetulabikanga ab'omugaso oba omugaso gwaffe baali bagudefininga ne baguteeka mu kintu kimu bwekiti.
Kyali tekivuddeeyo, it was not explicit, naye okukiteeka mu ssemateeka n'ogamba nti oba ebinaaba bizza wansi abakyala, cultures, si misango as such, yes misango naye nga gavumenti nga tebikkiriza. Yes, ebivumirira. Kati ne tusanga nti babiyingiza mu mateeka. Ne tulaba nga n'emyaka gy'abaana ab'obuwala oba abaana bonna mu Uganda giteereddwamu mu constitution 18, emyaka ejja 18, kubanga tumanyi nti oluusi abaana bali wansi wa 18 bafuna ebizibu nga abaami babakozesa oba nga abazadde babaweerezaayo babawase. Naye kati bw'otunula mu ssemateeka oba omanyi nti emyaka ejja 18 olina okugigenderako. Omwana bw'aba ali wansi wa 18 tolina mumukwatako. Mulimu n'ebirala ebikwata ku abakyala okuweerezaayo kwegamba amaanyi gaabwe, byonna nga mwebiri mu constitution eyo. Naye nga si buli kimu ekisobola okubeera mu ssemateeka. Mulimu n'amateeka amalala amatoototo kwega agaddirira ssemateeka ng'osangamu ebikwata ku bakyala. Naye ssemateeka oyo yatunyweza. Ne mu byobufuzi buli district erina MP ow'abakyala. Kati ekyo kyo kiri definite kuba kiri mu mateeka, kiri mu ssemateeka. N'osanga nga n'abakyala abalala mwe bali mu parliament. Tujja okubimenya ndowooza oluvannyuma, naye nga mulimu ne mu mirimu egya constitutional bodies eziri mu constitution ze boogerako nga bagamba nti kimu kyakusatu kinaaba ky'abakyala
ku buli bifo bisatu
kimu kyakusatu. Yes, kati nosanga constitutional bodies ezo commissions biki bwe bajja mu parliament nga president aweerezaayo amannya gaabwe, appointments committee ekigenderera nnyo okulaba nti abakyala babawa ebifo ebyo. Edda abantu tebaafangayo ng'omukyala baagala asigale mu kiyungu, ate nga bambi abakyala balina amagezi, baagala okuweereza, balina obusobozi, tebalina kye batta. Ate abakyala bassaamu okufaayo. Okiraba omukyala kyakozeeko ng'olabira ddala nti kirina touch eya perfection. Balumirirwa ate basigala bamaama. N'ekirala they are peacemakers. Kati kirungi okuba ng'olina omukyala mu byobufuzi, mu by'emirimu, ate constitution eyo etuyamba.
Wow. Thank you so much, Honorable Robina. Yes, Maggie, bwagamba nti twafuna abatuwa amaanyi ago, ssemateeka agatuwa, oba oliawo n'abaami bakkiriza nti abaami fe abakyala tukiraba mu busobozi oba tubwerabamu oba platform bagituwa, but we are still thinking this is where we have been. It is going to be hard for me to change my mindset nti ate ntunuulire boardroom instead of the kitchen.
Oli mutuufu nti waliwo abasigalidde emabega abakyalowooza bwe batyo. Waliwo abasigalidde emabega abakyalowooza bwe batyo lwakuba culture etubeeramu neva wa jjajjaawo nejjeebwa maamawo naawe n'okula kuva ng'oli mu kawala kato bakugamba tula bulungi, tolinnya miti, tovuga gaali, kwegamba n'okula ne culture eyo. Kaakati okugibreakinga ate kubanga constitution yo ekuwadde amaanyi, abamu bakisanga nga kizibu era n'asigalira emabega olw'ekyo. N'olwekyo eno Women's Day nga bwe tugiyina olwaleero keeka kisa okubabuulirako nti bino ebintu ebirungi byatuteekebwawo, birinze gwe weekolemu omulimu. Mulimu ki gwe weetaaga okwekolamu? Confidence ku makyala nze kyendabye eva ku kumanya. Knowledge is power, abazungu bwe bagamba. Bw'oba ebintu obimanyi kati mubeere bw'ofuna akakisa, naddala abawala baffe abato, bw'ofuna akakisa akasoma, beera serious. abalenzi ojja basangayo ojja kufuna omwami omulungi ennyo gye bujja maaso naye topapa kufuna mbuto ale kwegamba okusoma kikulu nnyo bw'oba omukisa tewagufuna nga gwakuyitako ennaku zino gavumenti yateekawo kye bayita skilling Ugandans programs ziri buli wamu nyingi yiga kutunga yiga byanviri yiga amasannyalaze ate emirimu twagala mutunule bawala baffe tewali gukulema seriously osobola okuvuga ennyonyi osobola okuvuga tractor osobola okukola amasannyalaze temutunuulira mirimu gimu n'ogamba nti ekyo gy'abasajja kakisa bwe kajja gweyiga obulimi bwe bwatwanguyira edda nga kuva ku bajjajja baffe abakyala baalimanga naye gwe bw'ogenda okulima kati njagala okitunuulire nga kyanjawulo kamasho
tolima byawaka byokka
kitunuulire nga kamasho kakati era kamasho kiri kye nasoose okwogera knowledge is power kyogenda okulima okimanyiko ki oleese enkoko omanyi tizirya omanyi zeetaaga eddagala kwegamba nga tonnaba kuyingira mu kintu ate kyenjagala bagamba wano ekisinga obukulu mwenna naawe Farida olina omulimu manyi naye Sylvia tumuwulidde noono balina emirimu ku ssaawa eno emirimu egyo giggwawo nze nga atuuse ku myaka gyendiko waŋŋambye nali executive director wa UIA gwaggwawo kati okola ki
n'ofuna omulala oba bwe wamusangibwamu
nedda nze netandikirawo nekolera gyange weetandikirewo ka bizinesi tandika okalowooza kusaawa naawe Sylvia ntudde wano ku ddakiika eno enkya tandika bizinesi yo kubanga yejja okubeezaawo nga absa akyuse awo juzi yali Barclays kakati absa yuno bibaawo omulimu ne guggwawo nze ye message gye nandyagala kuwa abawala tutandike bu bizinesi bwaffe
ate ng'ekyo kyogambye omulimu otuuka n'ovaawo you're creating space for others n'abawala abakyala bala bangi abajja
saagalaza ate kutunuulira from that angle omulimu bw'oba okyagusobola kati ono mumanyi nze mumanyi kuva dda she's very good at what she does sandyagadde musindiikiriza nga bwe baagala mbu abakyala mu parliament bakyala noboka
sikusindiikiriza naye ekiseera kituuka nga ne organization yenyini company eraba nga it is time for you to go and rest
nabano bajja kugamba ba voters nti bamukooye kyo tukirabye then you naye singa wali wa prepare
do you go back to the kitchen or you
wali wa preparing adda nze message gye njagadde okuleka wano tandika business yo enkya
tonight actually yesterday all right, thank you so much Maggie. Sylvia Molomi is Molomi, yes, public relations of HR or Absa Bank. Before we get into financial independence for women, how is it like working with women? Gwenga managing abakozi abandi.
Thank you, Farida ngenda kusaba njogere mu luzungu. Oluganda rwange very broken.
It's okay, feel comfortable.
Thank you so much. I want to start off by wishing every woman at whatever age in Uganda and in other parts of the world that is listening a happy Women's Day.
Thank you.
You have asked me what is it like working with a woman. For starters, I'm a woman. I'm a woman, I am a mother, I am a wife, I am a daughter, I am an employee, I am a line manager. So I usually fall back on how would I want to be managed as a woman. What have I found with women? Women, we have that innate ability to carry out work with a certain sense of responsibility. We have an ability to see things differently. And what do I mean by seeing things differently? We connect dots. We connect an issue that is related to a customer, but it will impact the business in this way, and it will impact the staff in this way, and this process or system needs to change in this way.
Are men not capable of doing that?
They are, but studies have said that men compartmentalize. So women are unique that rather than compartmentalize, they pull all these strings together and are able to see out of the web of things a solution. So that's what I've seen that is unique with women. They see the world differently. They bring a different perspective. What I've also seen with women on the downside of some of the things that Dr. Maggie and Honorable have been raising, sometimes we underrate ourselves. Sometimes we allow the challenges that we face, whether to be a mother, whether it is feeling like we are not good enough, to stand in our way of striving for big challenges, for big opportunities, for higher jobs or things we've not done before.
What is causing that?
I think we have grown up, as Dr. Maggie was highlighting, in an environment where we are told that maybe our place is in the kitchen, our place is you're being trained to grow up and maybe be married and take care of a home, and that's it. And we've not been shown that the world is out for us to get. And like we've been talking about here today, I want to tell every woman that you have been created special with a purpose, and anything that is in you, that has been placed in you, can be achieved. Do not let anything stand in your way.
Okay, they've had Honorable Robina. So many years down the road, nga bino bikoleddwa, amateeka gakoleddwa, musomero tubuuliddwa, abakyala role models nga mwogedde Katie gye tuli. Can we still go ahead and say we are still intimidated? Tetukkiririzaamu, tetunaba kukkiriza munda muffe nti twavaayo okuba nti bataddeyo position, for example, in a bank, for example, bataddeyo CEO afuluma, bagambye in-house, please apply. And somebody is seated and thinking, am I capable? Nsaanidde?
Maybe I should say there's still lack of confidence, because charity begins at home. Abaana olumu fe abazadde fe tubakola obubi, kubanga ogenda omwana n'omubuulira nti you know you can't manage this. They go to school, the teacher is saying you can't manage this, you know. So normally it is what you give the child that actually matters, because right from the time they are growing up, bw'aba amanyi nti I am capable of doing this, I am as I have the same intelligence that so and so has, I can do it, nga yali afuna encouragement, then those are the things that help these people or the children to have confidence. Kati abaana ab'obuwala ogenda n'osanga ng'omuzadde ekyokusooka bw'aba alina challenges nga za school fees, waakiri asomesa omulenzi naye omuwala tajja mufaako, omuwala asigala awaka akole emirimu.
Tulina ekyo kye twekwasa nti omuwala ajja kufuna famire ye endala, meaning olinga mugamba ojja kufuna omwami wo mutandike life empya, ajja kuba naakulabirira. Kati gwe ne bwe tuba tetukuteeko kati twamuze munno kuba naye ajja kufuna munne ate from a different family nga naye responsibility ey'okumulabirira. Naye
kati eyo endowooza yavaawo, kuba kati ogenda kitunuulira n'olaba nga actually many families are supported by both parents if they are there. If not, it's the single parent that's there that's struggling. Kati n'olwekyo tosobola gamba nti omwana anaasigala eyo asigale nga wa kiyungu biki. Kati okudda ku kino kye mbadde njogera, omwana okuva wansi agenda n'afuna challenges, tafunye encouragement okuva eri abazadde, ate atuuse mu system ne tufuna ako akasengejja akajjamu abaana ab'obuwala, n'osanga nga abaana abatandikidde mu gundi mu P1 si be bagenda okutuuka ku S6 ku university. At every level bagenda ba dropping out, kubanga omwana bajja musanga mu kkubo, omuntu amulimbalimbe oba amukake amufunyisa olubuto, kwega bintu bingi, obeeka bamuganya okusoma, leero tewali muntu ayoza essowaani biki, tewali muntu agenda mu nnimiro, ebintu bwe bityo. N'osanga nga abawala, abaana ab'obuwala the percentage gye tutandika nayo, almost less than half of that gets to university. Batuuse mu university bafunye emirimu. Still, they still have that traditional thinking. Kati ye alowooza mu kufuna maka. Agenda n'atunuulira emirimu egimu nga bamugamba nti no, she's looking at it as a male, a job that can be done better by a male colleague. Sometimes tebafuna encouragement at work. You know, people are talking ill about them and looking at them in certain instances just as objects. Kati n'osanga nga omuwala bw'aba talina the right friends, bw'aba tafunye proper orientation from that organization, bwe baba tebafuddeeyo okubalaga kiki kye bali, sometimes basigalirayo eyo. So it depends on what you were given as you are growing up, the institution you have, the schools you have joined, the workplace that you have joined, and what they are doing for the staff. Never know, kubanga they can also discourage you. Abantu balina kye bayita PhD, pull her down. Ne bagamba nti abakyala ate be basinga okujjayo bannaabwe, discouraging them. So you also need to have friends that encourage you, you know, and you need to think positive. If you find you have friends who are totally discouraging you, just leave them alone, you know, because you have others that will encourage you. Nekirala okusigala ne Mukama, kubanga that is great encouragement. Many times we leave God out of the picture, but we need to have that confidence, and it doesn't come from nowhere. Personally, my dad used to talk a lot to us, ng'atubuulira dangers ez'abalenzi, you know, and n'abasajja and all that, and he made us believe so much in him. Nga bw'owulira ekintu ku ssomero okomawo n'omubuuza. He became our encyclopedia, and we trusted so much in him. But he was there for us. He was able to be there, and he gave us his time. And well, now he's aging and he's there, but at least I appreciate that. Kati ne tumanya nti this is dangerous, this is naye ng'akuwa confidence. You can do this, you're a human being, you can manage as much as so and so can manage. Just put your everything in it. There's no gain without pain. Exactly. Yes.
So it's the confidence you have moved with along the way.
Yes. And I kept looking up to him. I kept looking up to other people in the system. Nga ntunuulira abantu. He was a civil servant. I also became a civil servant. Naye nga ntunuulira abantu abali mu system. Nenga singa mbeeranga gundi. I remember the late Justice Chikonyogo. Within legal circles, I think she was one of the first to become a lady judge, and we were like, wow, it's possible. I'm a member of FIDA Uganda. It's a good women lawyers organization that did a lot to boost our confidence also, but that was at the higher level. We used to volunteer our time and go out and do rural legal education, nga tusomesa abakyala n'abaami ebyamateeka. And that gave me the confidence even to speak before crowds, you know. So it's something you continue building up on, and it comes from different places. Like I'm saying, you have, you know, kubigatta ebyo byonna. Naye bambi oluusi abantu tebafuna chance eyo.
Olowooza kyandibadde different with you singa daddy playing a role ng'okyali muwala muto? Would it be a different story now?
Maybe it would have, because maybe people, you never know, maybe people would have taken advantage. I clearly remember a time when someone brought me money at school, and he had brought it from him. From my dad, yes. And when he brought it, he went to the headmaster's home. Headmaster nampita, it was a Sunday. Nagamba ono mwami avudde awaka bamuwadde ssente, nze nkooye genda mufulumazi kuwe nze kanzireyo mpumule. When I got out to talk to the man, he said, you'll have to come to town and pick that money to come to my home.
Ngatazirina.
Tiyajja nazo. Kati, I straight away knew what he was up to. But because of the talks that I had had, namugamba zitwalo gaggawale, but I'm going to report you. He brought it in the morning. Yeah, and I walked away from him. I hadn't been brought up to disrespect people, but I didn't even say bye. I said, go and get rich. Take it. I am not coming for it. Because I could see straight away what he wanted.
In a relationship chine daddy aliyokamwe sente azikuleete.
Yalinga Jine Kampala ng'agula ebintu n'abizaayo eri mu kyalo.
Musuubuzi.
So yes, yali musuubuzi. So he had become a friend of theirs and they thought they could trust him.
Okay.
Kati bwe nakyogera ate nga nina obusungu ku makya ennyo yazikeeza mu office ne bampita era mu office ne nzijjayo and I was like good. It helped.
Tewakkiriza kulinnyirirwa even as a young girl?
No. In fact, I used to have challenges. They would say I was big-headed and all that, and they were going to hit me because I was making other people rebellant. But I mean, chiyamba, ulaba nti chiyamba. Because I did it without feeling guilty, and I was like, you know, this guy thinks he's going to take advantage. Oh, let's see.
Mwali temulina eni nkolagana naye gwe ng'omuwala? Wali omulabulabi nga elder n'ofukamira n'omubuuzaako and that's it?
Nze nali mmanyi nti omuntu mukwano gwa bazadde bange obaki mikwano gyabwe tulina basaamu respect era nga tubayita auntie ne uncle. That's actually where some of these things begin. You know, you're calling someone auntie, you're calling someone uncle, and you end up getting a problem not knowing that, you know, this person can take advantage of you. But it's in that regard really ngamanyi nti, you know, nali actually sijjukira nti nali namulabako, but I knew from what they said because I was told, he said, I always go and associate with them.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. Dr. Maggie, before we come to you, I'll go back to Sylvia. Eyo gye mukolera inside, gwe nga relating n'abantu, when you're recruiting, do you treat the ladies, the women, the same way as men? Okulaba because but empowerment gye baatuwa etulaga tuyina rights zezimu n'abaami. Even when you're recruiting, do you treat us the same way? Or waliwo ka special weke muyisamu omukyala?
Thank you for asking that question. So at ABSA, we are committed to ensuring that we are including female colleagues, even male colleagues, so that there is no one who is excluded. So in the diversity and inclusion approach of ABSA, we ensure that at every shortlisting process, there are equal opportunity given to female colleagues and male colleagues. Maybe I can give a story, the ABSA story. So the ABSA story, ABSA has a women network forum. It was started about 10 years ago. At the time that the Women Network Forum was started, we did not have, whilst we had about 55% female colleagues total bank and 45% male colleagues, when you got to the top, you had fewer females. Actually, there were no female colleagues in director and above level roles. So this Women Network Forum was put in place to ensure that it addressed just that, so that when there were opportunities, especially at the top, where there were women who were able to meet those requirements, they would be given the opportunity. And I am pleased to say, when I was looking at the statistics, whilst we had 0 women from director level and up, we now have 35% females in those higher positions. In the middle management level positions, we now have 45% women. So I think it's very important for organizations, for recruiters to be intent in ensuring that where there is that gap, they give the opportunity to women who meet the requirements, because there are many women who have been educated, who have gotten the requirements needed, but they are not included most of the time.
Okay, thank you, Sylvia, and thanks for that as ABSA, encouraging more women to be participating. When we come back, Dr. Maggie, we're going to look at what they say, that for socio-economic development of any society, it depends on women. What did they mean by that? All right. Thank you for being a part of the audience. Tujaguliza special edition for Women's Day. Also, we'll be a part of this by telling us what are you doing as a woman in your individual capacity okubaako kyo achievinga for yourself and for the society or community gy'obeeramu. You can go through our number, our WhatsApp, it's 706 14 19 98. I'll say it again, musanvu 06 14 19 98. Tubuulire gwe ng'omukyala kiki ky'okola okwekulaakulanya oba okukulaakulanya ekitundu ky'oliko. You can also send shout outs to women, the role models in your life, the people who inspire you. We'll get a chance to read out some of them and give them a salute. Tuomulamu katono, please don't go away. Well, Tujaguliza Masa, thank you so much for keeping it Mwasuze Mutya. Kwetuliko Spark TV, kwetuliko NTV and Spark TV plus our social media platforms. Yes, tusinzira Kampala Serena Conference Center, the partners today, together with Absa Bank, abatutusizako this special edition. We have amazing women, Honorable Robina Rakojo, achikirira abantu mu constituency ya Gomba West, tuyane Dr. Mage Chigozi, who is a former director, Uganda Investment Authority, plus Sylvia Molomi, who is an HR Human Resource Director or a People Function Director or Absa Bank. Wetuwumuliddemu Dr. Mage wadagana tutemera kye bategeeza when they say that successful economic development of any society depends more on women. Yes, Mage?
Completely. I think in the past, the world missed the contribution of 51% of its population because they were in the kitchen. Their role was limited, very limited to just the family. But now, since we are out here, a few of us, not all of us, but you know, the struggle continues.
Yep.
We contribute in Uganda at least 40% to GDP is by the women.
40%.
The agriculture, the production is mainly by the women. The trade, markets, cross-border, largely also by the women. I think we moved out into these two sectors during those times when we had insecurity in Uganda. Our poor men, it was not safe for them to be in a shop, for example. It was not safe, so we took over. So some of those roles we took over.
By mistake?
Yes, it was not for a good reason.
But it opened the eyes.
It opened our eyes. I'm running the shop better than my husband was running it. So it did open our eyes, and those who moved out never went back. So that's our contribution. But when you look at the two sectors, they are the ones that don't earn very much. Well, of course, trade, you can be really big, but most of them are, in small shops. And so those were the sectors. But now we have women that have moved out of those sectors. Maybe a large number of them did start there, and they are now in manufacturing, they are in construction, they own hotels, they are heading
real estate.
banks. So we are out. We are out now, and we are not going back.
You're not going back.
No.
To some women, the word ambition still sounds vulgar.
Yes.
To some women, and then some men look at it as a threat.
Yes.
Am I right? There are
That is
women
true.
who are threatened
That
by
is true.
ambitious women.
Yes. That
What-
is very, very true. But I think it's also changing. I see them appreciating us. I see young girls running after, for example, me. They want to take a selfie with me. Why? Because they think in some areas I've succeeded. And they actually tell you frankly, you're my role model. And I think these ladies also have them. You're my role model. Why am I their role model? They see me as a success. And I tell them, you have opportunities that I didn't have. You have technology. You have other areas that I did not have. So the ambition is there. The sisterhood. I think you even mentioned it at the beginning that we did tend in the past to pull one another down. But I'm sure when she's doing HR now, it's top of her mind, where are the girls? Why haven't they applied? And even within the advert, they'll say, women, please apply directly. because we now pull our sisters up. We have recognized, first of all, their abilities. She talked about them. They have skills that are different, that are necessary, that move towards peace, that move towards let's do things together. So that is different. Then we have the laws, the wonderful laws that she's talked about in the Constitution. But I wanted to bring up the fact that at that time, the MDGs talked of 30%. Robina, SDGs is 50%. Yes. You need to go back to the Constitution if it's necessary to change the Constitution, because the figure is now 50%. We should have 50% parliamentarians, 50% women on all the constitutional bodies that you talked about, and all the boards, the government boards for sure. Then what I want to raise as someone in the private sector, all these were for government institutions. The private sector has absolutely no regulation that says bring on board women. They are doing it because it makes business sense. Women are smart. Women are different. She told you about it.
So they're automatically picking it.
They are picking it, but very slowly. This 30%, do you think government would have gone to 30% without that law? Never. It would have taken another 20 years.
So you want
even
a law?
us, yes, let's get your law, and she's in Parliament, which is why I'm specifically talking to Robina. She's in Parliament. Let's get the 50% Constitution. I don't know what it takes to do that, and let it be across the board. Let the private sector, on their boards at the moment, they have about 10% women. CEO positions, look at the banks. Out of 24 banks, we have 4 CEOs. That position of CEO of a bank is mainly male. Middle management, we are coming. There we are creeping up, especially in the banks, because that's our strength.
Our area.
We are strong in finance. We are ethical. We will not be corrupt. But we're also good at finance. Secondly, we are strong in HR. I think almost every company, if you look at the HR in top office, is female. And so that's a skill that we innately have. But we need to be in all the others in the same way. So I'm asking that regulations, look at the SDGs, it's now 50%, and also let it be broader than government. It shouldn't be limited to government.
Okay. When you say we are stronger in finance,
Yes.
does it also come up into our pockets, or we handle people's finances?
No, as well in business. Oh, have you seen my business women? They are fantastic. We have big businesses. Cheers has grown into some incredible projects in northern Uganda. We have, the other lady, Amina. We have, all these malls, a lot of them belong to us. A lot of hotels belong to us. So yes, they are proving they have the ability to be entrepreneurs.
Okay.
But they needed some things that we tried as government.
But also as we celebrate the big women that have achieved it, they are minority in society. So many others.
I think you need to understand the big women were not born big. None of, even me, my little Pepsi was this small. We have grown it. This is what you are calling big women. I know Hajat Brovard, if you know Brovard group of companies.
Chamber.
Yes. She inherited a hotel that was incomplete. She completed it. She has buildings. She has another one on the. So they were not Cheers. If you ask for her story, she will tell you she used to make juice and sell it on a wheelbarrow, and she had only one dress. She was the woman in the red dress who sells juice. So when we talk about her bigness, she didn't start big.
Exactly.
So that's the encouragement that I want to take to the ladies who are small, is that you can do it. Just put your mind to it. There are some things you need to do. You need to educate yourself. You need to have confidence. You need to know the rules and regulations. You need to look for the government agencies that help. They are
know
there,
where
the
to
women
go.
don't come. Yes.
Where to go. Of
Where
course, to
to
start such things, you need finances. Money is very important.
No.
And it is.
Start small, grow your business.
Even with that small, you need some
If you are
little
lucky,
money.
which money is good for you? Let's start with that. Your own savings. So here you have a gratuity somewhere. That is the kind of money that is good for you to start with. You have family. Your brother, maybe who's made it, can spare you 10 million shillings, 20 million shillings. You start your business. That is good money. Government programs, youth fund, and I don't know what other funds, SACCOs, together, you put your money together. That's good money that won't be demanding. You go to ABSA, first of all, you should have a running business. You should have books of accounts. You don't just go to them and they lend you money. Okay, and even then, they will not lend you for a startup. If you're just starting, there are different programs that might do. But if you have a job like you guys do, they'll give you a salary loan. That is true.
They
yeah.
have guarantees.
So, but borrowing money to start your business is not a good move at all. So I encourage those other sources of money. So these women that you are looking at as big and thinking they are big, they all started small.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Maggie. Assurance. Yes, Sylvia, back to you. For the women, she's made it clear you love the ones that have made it a little bit. The starters have to find their way to get to your level of being helped out financially. What are those schemes you have that women out there who are stuck can take advantage of?
Okay, thank you for that question. And I want to emphasize what Dr. Maggie was saying and the whole discussion we are having around access to finances for women. That is a major challenge, access of finances to women. And I think I lean towards, for startups, being able to find individual sourcing. In the banking industry and at ABSA, what we are currently doing to support women is we will do financial literacy for women so that we make them aware of their individual finances, where they are, how they can access financing, starting by saving, and then eventually when they get to a level where they can borrow from a bank, how they are able to do that. Even I want to steer towards the employee woman in our workplace. One of the things we have done for the woman in banking, as Dr. Maggie has said, get a job, start up something for yourself. In the COVID period, what we did was run financial literacy programs for women, and we were able to have various specialist women come through and conduct training and help women understand how you can be empowered by having your own finances that help you not only now but also in the future. So I think there are various ways that we have supported, starting with our own employees, but also providing literacy, financial literacy to the women at large.
Can I come as a woman, myself, a reader, and seek for a loan? There are people you go to and where's your husband?
Oh, yes, yes. So the basic right to access finances is definitely adhered to. So as an individual, you can walk up to ABSA and you can have a conversation about financing without having to bring in your husband.
Because some feel secure, they feel their money is safer if they're giving it to two people. And then the problems come in later when now there is a disagreement between these two. And then you start to look around, it strains you, it strains the other person, and then you end up getting into this whole mess, especially if they put up security, a property as security. But anyway, we'll get back to that. We come to Honorable Robina about affirmative action. Is it still being taken as serious?
I would say yes, because first of all, the fact of having the women representatives in Parliament was a move that was taken out of that. But further, we have special interest groups. We have the representatives with disability, people with disability. We have youth. We have the army, and these. Pardon? Yeah, now we have the elderly. Actually, that's a new category that has come on, and we have workers. So these came in through affirmative action. And there is a clause, there's an article within the Constitution which talks about affirmative action, and that after a period of 10 years, it will be reviewed to see whether it is still necessary, whether how it's working. But we haven't had an opportunity to sit down and formally discuss whether these offices should remain. But the beauty is that we have seen the holders of those seats helping out the constituencies which they serve. You find the MPs who represent those with disability reach out to their constituents. The workers reach out to their constituents. The youth do that. But it is still a subject of debate. Some people say, why should you continue competing as a woman MP? Why don't you, after some time, change and become a directly elected MP and give other women an opportunity? But on the other hand, when you look at it, if the women rose up to compete for all the positions, they would get them. Because I am a directly elected MP, we happen to be 18 in this parliament because we are 459 members of parliament. We have 146 districts and therefore women MPs. And for us, we're just 18. But if we were to take up all the other seats, it would be possible. The only seat that the men cannot take up is that of the district woman representative. Otherwise, the rest are really open to everybody, to both the males and the females. So in that regard, I would say affirmative action, I think people haven't clearly come out to discuss properly whether it should continue or whether it should not. We have also seen it being advanced for the students at university level. Like I said, the girls have dropped out at every level because of cultural attitudes, because of people taking advantage of them and getting them pregnant, because of their parents allowing them to get into early marriages, because of lack of school fees, because of misunderstandings. You know, there's so much that disadvantages the girls. So that sieve continues working up to the top level, and you find that when they get to university, the 1.5 marks that people are condemning them about really, in a way, I think were justified. Because, I mean, there's so much. Like we said, not all those who begin are the ones that get to the top. The girls have proved, though, that they're intelligent. They, even when they're given those marks, some of them actually don't need them. They've proved that they're intelligent. Yes, they prove that they're intelligent, but it helps the rest that are coming up. They prove they're intelligent and they can work hard if they're not distracted. So I do not want to condemn affirmative action. It has helped. But I think it's time that a discussion came about to see what to improve and what to remove.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also still think if we, unless we haven't got to that level that fully empowers women, I still think we should have directly elected members of parliament and get rid of the female. Just thinking to continue to show that we are actually empowered enough. We can stand with the men, and where necessary, where possible, actually, we can beat them to those positions.
Maybe
or is it too early for us to?
Maybe there's a category. Maybe there's a category that would still be allowed to come in. Maybe if they said if you've stood as a woman representative for X number of years, then allow others to do that.
To come in.
Yeah, but otherwise you may find it unfair to them. But there are a lot of underlying currents. People have been talking about it and saying, is it worthy
should men continue to vote for women members of parliament? Is it an issue that should be looked into?
Well, I think it would be difficult to polarize the populace and say it is only women who should vote for the women MPs, because we happen to be one population. We work together. If you start compartmentalizing people, then you're likely to get bad results, because it's like encouraging, say, tribalism or something. We're all Ugandans. So if the women see themselves as being the only ones that are supposed to vote for the women, and then the men are the ones who are supposed to vote for the directly elected, it's still a contradiction, because the directly elected can either be women or men, you know. And I know that women MPs, the district women MPs, actually, I think, traverse the constituency much more than anyone would do. And in that regard, maybe something should be looked into. But I think we need both men and women to vote for
the women.
The
After
women
all,
and for the directly elected MPs, because the services are provided by both of those categories.
And the other issue is even the issues that affect men, that these
Do
women
affect
MPs
women.
Bring up to the August House also affect men. Okay. Dr. Maggie, the work-life balance has also failed some women. There's too much work this side, also too much work this side. They end up having to make a decision, and some have chosen to go this way and left this other side. How are you managing?
Yes, it is a problem. It is a problem that the women, it is a problem in that the women have more at-home work, what they call unpaid care work. We are expected, because of our culture. It is not the case in a lot of the other countries. The men have come in to cook. The men look after the children. We are in a slightly, we are slightly behind on that one, in that even the women do not want the men to cook. So we've been so ingrained in our culture, respect for the man of the house. He should not go to the kitchen. He should put his feet up and watch TV while you have been doing a job just as he has, and you now have to come home, watch the kids, do that, even the homework.
Yes.
This is a very highly educated husband in the home. He could do the homework at least, but no, you have to do the homework as well. So that is the kind of balance that is really hard for the women, because at work, you're expected to deliver on your KPIs. They won't remember that you have children and you have whatever. So it is really comes back to you as the woman. How are you and your husband talking about this? I think your earlier speaker talked about her house help that she has had so many years. I, as well, had Annette for 30 years plus.
Wow.
So my children were okay. I knew she was feeding them, she was washing them. Yes, she couldn't do the homework, but she could do many. She could go shopping, she could do everything.
But at least
so
you were sure somebody.
I had somebody. And that is now your role as well. How often do you change your house help? How do you treat them? Do they eat the same food? You know, she eats the same food as the children, so there's no problem. She doesn't feel she has to steal the milk. She doesn't. So you have to make sure, how are you treating your house help? We got a business expert talking about why the men succeed to become CEOs in companies like ABSA, and we don't. And that was exactly it. They have a wife
Who does all the other things.
does everything else. They can focus. They can think business. Even at home, sitting on the bench, is thinking, how will I change this? What strategy, you know? For you, you're busy. So what do? Her solution, she was a CEO, of course. She could afford it. Well, she has 3 wives. She called them wives.
Oh.
The driver. Because during the traffic jam, you are on your internet, you're on your laptop. So you have those 3 hours of traffic jam to be used productively. Secondly, the shopping. She said, are you crazy? Are you in the market buying tomatoes? Well, maybe you can get them cheaper by 100 shillings than whoever you are sending. But what about your time? How expensive is it? So she said, no shopping. then the kids as well get somebody to help the children. And then you also have a wife in those three that then takes on the role that the wife lightens the husband's load, that makes him succeed to become CEO, and you do not succeed. So work-life balance is for you as the woman. You are the one in charge.
And now that particular point of
Yes.
her and her three other wives
Yes.
has created a scenario where we ain't paying too much or enough attention to our children. And eventually they're growing up in a way that will disappoint much
Yes.
later in their lives.
No. And again, she said that, but I also, for me, I prioritize what is important in my life. The children are here. In fact, nothing else can even go near them. Those are your number one priority. They are the future. They need you. You are their only mom. Even once you bring in Annette and whoever, you are the mom. So what are your priorities? When my child is sick, I'm sorry, Absa, you're not going to see me at work. I'll be rushing to the hospital.
What if Absa won't take that?
If Absa won't take that, that's not the place
They'll take
where I
it
should be
today. What
working.
happens next week when you show up with the same child sick? Because
And
we
you
have
can't.
parents who have sickly children.
Sickly children. Yes, I hope ABSA can be the kind of employer who would understand that one at least. Your child is critical. But it's true, you may have to now rethink. And COVID has been fantastic in getting us to rethink the way we work. Do I need to be in ABSA to do my work? No. We've discovered that I don't. Do I need to be in a board meeting in Kenya like I've been going and the other one in London? The answer is no.
Zoom.
Is no. So COVID has helped us, and has particularly helped us, the women, to put that on the table. I can do my work in the night when the babies are all sleeping, and it's okay, and I would deliver. So it's now for HR and the companies to look at what performance have I delivered on that job that you told me to do in my own time, not from 8 to 5 when it is what used to be expected in the past.
On a lighter note on that one, you can do your work in the night as Maggie. What about that one who has a husband who expects them to be in the bed at that time? They won't take the work thing. You'll handle your work issues during the day.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to take a break. Once again, thank you so much for being a part of that audience. Don't forget your messages to Zirinze on that WhatsApp number I gave you. Katumuremu nate to come out of our. Tukyagenda maaso webale nnyo tuyingidde mu kitundu kyaffe ekisembayo. We'll be reading a few messages from you people. Yes, it's a special edition for Women's Day as we look at what we have achieved so far. How are women promoting other women? Because it is true, there are still women abali stuck in their homes, in the villages, nga tebalina kuyimusibwa kwonna kwe bafunye. Kitegeeza nti abali mu bibuga bokka be bafunye that opportunity. Even in the villages, from wherever you are, you can make yourself better and also be a role model to the other women ku kyalo ekyo kw'osinziira. Ndine Dr. Maggie Chigozi, ndine Honorable Robina Rakojo, plus Sylvia Molomi from ABSA Bank. We are proudly brought to you by ABSA and Kampala Serena Hotel, who have offered 10% of your bill today for every woman who comes to have a meal at Kampala Serena Hotel. Yes, wetutuse Honorable Robina Rakojo tubuulireko gwenge eyakulembera okukola report kukabasanya oba sexually harassing girls more institutions of higher learning. Is this affecting them? Ebyaddala before we go into Sylvia telling us sexual harassment at workplaces. What were the findings and how is it, to what extent is it affecting?
Thank you very much. That inquiry was into sexual violence in institutions of learning, and we looked at primary schools, secondary schools, universities and tertiary institutions, and we found that the sexual violence is there, it's real, and it happens. These girls are sexually abused, they are harassed, they are well, even at home, for some of them before they come to school, some of them face problems, because I remember one of them saying that she feared to go home for the holidays because her parent was going to harass her like he always does, which I found was really a pity. Actually, I think we had two that said that. But what we discovered was that sexual violence, which includes sexual harassment, has no bounds. It happens to both girls and boys, more to girls. At the primary level, it was mainly by the teachers. They would send the girls to take books to their homes and find them there and then abuse them. At other times, they would deceive them and find them in various places. There are times they would go to offices which were in, like, say, a dingy place. You find the offices is like in a corner and only one person can go there at a time. Things like that. And then in some of the secondary schools, we also found, well, we found it was mainly the teachers, but in some instances, the boys, and especially that was at university level. There are many factors that contributed to this. First of all, the people talked about poverty levels. The girls are deceived. They are given money. People want, say, like on campus, some were saying they wanted to plait their hair and be like the others, and she doesn't have enough money. Parents send them there without enough pocket money, thinking they have made it, they have got to campus, and that is it. So they get there. Some of them have come from up country, and the forces here in town are very different. Those who get to discuss with fellow students trust them, and they don't realize that if they walk into their rooms, then nobody will believe you if you raise an alarm because you've been raped by that guy. Lecturers asking to meet them off campus so that they avoid the sexual harassment rules on campus. In the primary schools, the way some of the buildings are constructed, they are so close to the classrooms, and someone can easily walk into, say, a teacher's home. Some of the trees in the compound are conducive, you know, someone is walking at night, say they've been doing prep, and no one will realize if she's dragged into the bushes or the trees around there. So there were many things, but we realized that actually this sexual violence happens to these children. They don't like it, they detest it, but they are lone voices. And the girls get pregnant, they miss out on their education opportunities. The boys are allowed to continue even where they have been identified. When cases are reported, sometimes the law enforcement officers don't care to enforce the laws. The laws are there, but they are not put into practice. Someone will go and report and it's looked at like, you know, something a bit normal. Then others settle the cases out of court. So a lot of recommendations came up. We even said that people, for example, who are vying to be lecturers at university or teachers should have a background check done. He could have been the village rapist, much as he's very intelligent and he'll pass that interview and get that position as a lecturer. And that was one of the things that we discussed and agreed upon. We had also asked for names. They know the people that defile them. We asked them to write down on little sheets the names, and we got them and we wrote a list. And we actually wanted that it should be investigated. We did also talk about girls that get pregnant at school, and we had thought these girls should be allowed to continue. It was controversial discussing that because it was like, are you encouraging girls to get pregnant at school? But we realized that many of those who got pregnant did so because they had either been forced or they were too ignorant to know what to do to stop the pregnancy. So many of them were taken advantage of. And so we thought it was not right, especially where a boy has done it to her, for him to continue and the girl cannot continue. She misses her education. It's awkward for a girl to sit in class, she's pregnant, and her friends are looking at her and wondering. you don't know how to balance that. But we did think that they should be given a chance. So there was a lot that came out of that report, a lot that's also affected by culture, because the cultural practices, many people think that these girls are really meant for marriage, they can be used and all that. But we found also that parents fear talking to these girls, talking to the boys. They fear telling them about boys and men who could turn out to be dangerous to them, or on the other hand, girls or women who could be dangerous to the boys. So because their parents keep quiet and expect the teachers to do it, to talk to these children, the teachers expect the parents to do it, then the children are left there and they don't know that they are facing a danger.
For the girls that have been affected, for example, they got pregnant, have had their kids, did they ever get a chance to go back to school? Or that is the end of their story?
No, a number of them didn't. That is why we were recommending that they should. And we also found cases of like early marriages. Once a girl like that got pregnant, some of the parents would force them to get married to the
man.
Perpetrators, yes, against their will.
So it looks like it's a vice that is not easy to eradicate.
I believe with sensitization, and because once these people know what is wrong, what should not be done to them, and where they can report, and then with sensitization of the law enforcement officers, so that they know the magnitude of what it is, what is happening, and that it is their responsibility to enforce the laws, we can see some cure coming up. Because I know that the judiciary, when we were handling that report, did give their time from, I think it was like September to October, and they handled a number of cases, close to 500 cases of sexual offenses, and they concluded them. And actually, where there was evidence, convictions were secured. That's one other thing. People don't realize, for example, that if defilement has happened to a girl, you must seek for the police report. Take her to a medical facility instead of shouting at her. Get her checked, because that is your #1 piece of evidence. And once that is done and you get it into the system and the DPP's office takes over, then in most cases you're likely to secure a conviction. But people wash the girl and wash away the evidence, shout at her, and she cows down, she just gets out of it, or they just don't want, or maybe they get to the law enforcement officers or to the health worker, the doctor that they are sent to, and they're being asked for money and they can't afford that, so the evidence is destroyed at that stage. That's where you find people saying, I know my daughter was, or my girl was defiled, but court has just decided, you know, to receive, the court officials are receiving bribes. They don't realize that the evidence actually was destroyed at that stage and by inaction, you know. And
court bases on evidence, not just talk. Okay, quite sad that we are missing out on women that are supposed to be big up there being killed at a tender stage. All right, we go to Sylvia. As HR, we have cases. I personally have received many girls telling me how they quit a job because the boss couldn't let them be. How do you handle, as HR, how can you help girls to handle such situations when they happen? It is a boss, I am new, fresh from university, I need this job so badly. So chances are, I am going to listen to what he's telling me.
Yes, it's very sad when you say that there are those stories. The good news is that we have a law, the Sexual Harassment Regulation, that requires that in every workplace you have a sexual harassment committee. And the membership of this committee is management and also representation from employees. So in our workplace currently we have a sexual harassment committee, and what that committee does, it creates awareness, first of all, to let people know what is sexual harassment, and to build that confidence that should you find yourself in a situation where this has happened to you, you can raise your voice, you can let it be known, and it will be handled anonymously. it will be investigated. And if anyone is culpable, then they will be managed accordingly. There is zero tolerance for sexual harassment, because whether it is towards male colleagues or female colleagues, because it does impact how somebody thrives in the workplace.
You need to produce evidence, for example, for you to be listened to for people to believe you. What kind of evidence? We haven't got to that particular, to the end of where he wants it to go. We are still, but I'm not comfortable at the workplace because he keeps telling me certain things that are making me unproductive and uncomfortable.
Well, I will say I have an example outside of ABSA. Some of the evidence that I have seen in my experience and as an HR practitioner is someone will send text messages. Okay, so gather the evidence. If you're in that situation, they'll send you text messages, and sometimes really out of this world text messages. At times they will do something and there is another person that is watching. So that other person can collaborate your story of what happened. And of course, God forbid, there may be extreme cases of abuse and violence, like you've indicated, where then you would have to go and get the police reports and the health checks.
Do we have, is it even realistically possible that you can get rid of a CEO, a general manager, to keep me, a girl at the till, for example?
I strongly believe that it is, because in the company, the companies have values. Like ABSA has values of integrity and ensuring that people are treated right. They are basic human rights. So if you have a leader who behaves in a way that disregards those values, that is not the type of leader that a right-standing organization would want to have in their company.
Okay.
Maybe leaders have bosses.
Bosses?
There is a boss, a board of directors.
Yes.
Who come in?
Yes.
In those situations.
Yes, who come in.
Okay. Maggie, there is a message here coming in from a 25-year-old with 2 kids. She says, Omusajja yangana buli kimu. Mbeera waka, life really challenges me a lot. But please, omuntu nga nze nkoze ntya. She wants to work,
yes,
but she has to submit to Mr. Right. Mr. Right amukugira okola buli kimu to make herself better.
yes.
Kubanga amugambye I'll provide everything.
She needs their family help. She needs to get either the religious leader or she needs help. This gentleman is insecure. He's worried she'll go out there and meet men. Probably that is generally the #1 problem. He does not, he thinks she'll go out there and meet other people. So he needs comforting. She needs to play her part in that, I am your wife and I'll always be, sort of comforting. So there is that relationship between 2 people that she needs to build. And he begins to trust her. But then if she has a singer, a family member, and how much money does he earn? Is it enough? Will it cover the school fees and all the needs at home? And probably not. So he needs support. It has to come from the fact that we need income in this family as a family. But that's a very, very difficult situation she's in with that insecure man. She could even be a graduate with the possibilities of working anywhere, and she's seated at home.
And I think this is where we should bring the men on board. As we strive to empower women, we should never leave the men behind. Kati ng'oyo yeetaaga kubuulira kumulaga nti what happens in a situation where you're incapacitated? What happens in a situation where you're gone? You're nowhere, we have 5 children, and this lady hasn't been working for the past 7 or so years. Where does she start from?
Yes, you need to have that discussion with the men, and I think there are various NGOs that are doing excellent work in those areas. There's Men Engage, there is, Reach a Hand Uganda. They talk about sexual issues. It is unfortunate that our culture did not encourage parents to be the one to discuss this, but I think that has got to change. Nobody can talk to your child like you can. But if you are too embarrassed and too ashamed to talk to your son, because in this case, we are worried about the girl, but the son, the husband, is the son of a woman. So if she had talked to him, if she could straighten him out, these problems would actually end. But we often neglect the girl child on the question that you were talking to Robin about, the sexual harassment to boys. We were having a Twitter conversation, and this boy came up and said the workers at home were using him. The one came and worked for 2 years and left, and she was using him. And another one came, and another one came. So these were women workers in the home. So that for me was a real eye-opener. I never expected that to be a problem, and I would not have looked out for it.
And
for
that
my
is,
boys.
that is what I was talking about before we took a break.
Yes.
That as we concentrate in the office, something is going wrong at home,
Yes,
where we need us to really balance the two.
exactly.
And we can't even, not everybody we bring into the homes to help us with the work side, I mean with the home side, is trustworthy.
No.
We have seen the helpers we bring in be a very big disservice to us and the entire family. So it is still tricky
Not
in
tricky.
so many ways.
Does your child know? Knowledge is power, even for the child. This is wrong. He should never touch you. She should never touch you. And if she does, scream to me.
That is for a child who is 7, let's say 7 and above. What happened to the 2-year-old? We've seen men rape 2-year-olds. 3-month-old baby. Remember that case so many years ago.
Yes.
And I'm given only 3 months of work. After giving birth, I leave the child at home. We don't have workplaces that have embraced having nurseries at office for me to carry my baby along.
Parliament has now.
But what happens to
But
the
some
other
places
companies?
no.
They're coming up, and also private sector had, unfortunately affected now with COVID, had initiated lots of baby crashes. They were looking after your baby as you go to work, private baby places. So it is happening, and it will continue to happen. Maybe the other one that I have always loved is my relatives. My nieces can study from home. So that's another eye on what is happening at home.
Okay, somebody here is appreciating you ladies. She says, I'm admiring the ladies on the show because they have contributed a lot to this country. I'm an enrolled midwife by profession and personally feel I have not served much. I have been running a drug shop for years now and feel my passion is to go to the communities and help where necessary. Ladies, I'm gladly available to work anywhere where you feel I fit.
Oh, that's sad because by providing drugs, she's been doing a service. Someone is sick and they have nowhere to get medicine and they go to her drug shop and get it. She needs to be talked to. That's the confidence we're talking about. She's played a vital role. I feel sorry.
I think she has too much potential that it's underutilized.
Maybe. But she should know that what she has done so far is good. Yes, it's good. Because you can imagine on a day when her shop is closed and someone has like a life-threatening, you know, situation is in a life-threatening situation that needs just some tiny drug, you know, that she has in her shop. I think she needs to be, you need to call her back and boost her confidence. She may want to go into another field, but we need to boost her confidence.
Okay, I saw a young lady here say something like, it's sad reality, but there aren't that many opportunities for the girl child in Uganda. Is it true?
No, that is not true. But of course the girl child needs help. She is not doing it alone. When she's young, it's the parents.
Is it the opportunities that are missing, or it is the role models? Do we have enough role models?
I think now you even have role models. We didn't have them in our time. They were really, really rare to see a woman up there. But now we have role models everywhere. So they know the opportunities exist. Now it's their role to grab them. It's the parents' role to breed confidence in them. I want to say I owe my total self-confidence to my parents because they wanted a girl, they prayed for a girl. When they got one, they treated me like a goddess, as did my 4 brothers. So there's a role. That confidence comes from somewhere. And that is what will make you stand up and say, no, I'm not going to ask on TV what I can do, but Sanyu Baby's home is here. You know, in my neighborhood, there's this thing. Look for it and see how you can help your communities because you have the skills.
You actually raise a very good a very important issue of mothers as role models. I think we should be very, very good. We should be the #1 role models. Because why should your child look at Maggie, Dr. Maggie, who is miles away from her, while you're at home? It means they don't either trust you much enough or you haven't done much. And we shouldn't be looking at only money as people who have made it financially also as the main issue. How are you grooming these children? How have you been there for them that they're now taking you as, okay, I must do what mommy does and even strive to achieve more than she did because I have more opportunities that she actually had. Okay, there's too much to talk about.
Yeah, there's
women.
so much.
Do you have special people in a second or two to send shout outs to on this day?
Okay, I know my granddaughter and my grandson. I have switched on NTV because they know I'm going to be there. So hi Alisa, happy Women's Day. Liam, happy Women's Day to you too. Look after all the women in your life and be a good man.
Oh, thank you. Yes,
I would like to send greetings out to my family, because I know they are watching too. My husband and children, and my family that I came from, my dad and the siblings, and also to my constituents, if they are watching at all. Happy Women's Day to you all, and I would like to congratulate our football team for beating Budu. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Did you have to say that?
Yeah, well, it's something that has just happened.
I am Budu. I was sure you guys were falling.
Oh, sorry. Next time you'll win.
Yes, Sylvia.
Thank you. I think for me, special greetings to the ABSA family, the leadership team and the staff. Then my family, my daughter Christo is here with me, and I know the rest are watching. To the other HR leaders in Uganda, thank you for all the work you do. Continue to ensure that the woman is at the forefront of your agenda. Thank you, and happy Women's Day to all the ladies out there.
Okay, thank you so much, Sylvia, Dr. Maggie, and Honorable Robina Rakojo. I think it's been amazing. You have picked one or two things, and the people in charge to subira nti ensonga z'abakyala nga olunaku lwe bateekebwayo for them to highlight their achievements and also focus on the challenges. We are going to focus on what is missing to make them even better, stronger, and more empowered to be that the women they're supposed to be, okuyambako more the development of this great nation, Uganda. Special greetings going out to all the ladies that are part of this show on a daily. I get so many testimonies from women. I didn't know this. Nali stuck in this particular situation, but I am getting better. Abachala banji bali tebamanyi nti nsobola okukola. Nsobola convincing omwami wange yali akiraba obubinti ngenda okukola. Nanzikiriza by talking to them nicely and in a convincing way. Nakiriza. One of the people we have abatera kujja ku show is midwife Aisha. You know her very well. She works with Entebbe Grade B Hospital. As Zeta Komioko Nasima the entire NTV crew and all the women out there, and a big special cake that we're going to be cutting right now. Yes, you've been amazing. The messages came in so many, but because of time we couldn't take them all in. So we're going to cut this cake on behalf of you. It's okay. Let's do the chewing. You can do the swallowing from home. Yes, ladies, can we?
Thank you, Aisha. Yeah, put your hand here.
Thank you so much for thinking about us.
Okay. Aisha, are you helping us too? Okay. Yes. Yeah. Happy Women's Day.
Okay. Thank you so much. I think that's it for today. We'll see you again tomorrow. The show continues. We'll have our usual health matters. May God bless you. Happy Women's Day to all the ladies and, of course, the gentlemen that make women proud. And respect them. Bye for today.